your Chargers linebacker, Dan Henley, and you're tuning in with Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LA Football Network. If this is your first time tuning in the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to everyone who is joining us live as we break down the Chargers going to the Dallas Cowboys. Again, we are in competition season, as Jim Harbaugh likes to call it, Dan. And the playoffs are inching that much closer, and the Chargers have an opportunity to actually clinch a playoff spot with a win, and of course, a couple other scenarios taking place this weekend. But lots to get into as we go into a very interesting weekend going up against these Dallas Cowboys as it relates to the Chargers' their current state, riding the high from their defense, especially after the win in Kansas City. Dan Wolkenstein, good morning to you. How is everything? I should ask you what you're drinking. If you haven't had your caffeine yet, I would be very much surprised.
I have not had my caffeine yet.
I am surprised.
We will see if the better half may be so kind as to bring some to me, but I have not had it yet.
Is she watching this like live in the kitchen to be like the subliminal message like, hey, honey.
I wonder if she's going to bring me some coffee while I'm on the live show. But no, I'm good. It's this weird, uncharted territory for Chargers fans where we're looking at playoff clinching scenarios and the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs. Like,
say it again.
I realized my mic is really far from me. The Chargers are going to look for a playoff berth, and the Chiefs are out of the playoffs. Isn't that weird? Folks in the chat, what are you drinking this morning? I gotta ask.
James Wagner drinking the Dew.
Standard Mountain Dew, James Wagner. That's intense.
Drinking the Dew. Is it Code Red or is it traditional Mountain Dew?
Baja Blast.
I think you're one of the only people I've ever heard mention Baja Blast Mountain Dew.
If you worked at Taco Bell, that's what happens. Daniel Bridges says straight up black coffee, Pete's Major Dickinson blend. I'm really hoping I get to taste some coffee this morning. London Fog says silhouette. You're starting to see some things here, Jake. This is a live show. We kind of go all over the place. Jesse Minter wants the Bengals job. You're starting to see some rumblings. Jesse Minter's name getting thrown out there. It's only a matter of time. I'm not sure if he wants the Bengals job specifically, but you're going to see his name thrown out a bunch for coaching vacancies.
Jim Harbaugh said it last year. Enjoy Messy. I was about to reverse it. Jesse Minter while you have him. Days could be numbered.
Yep. Danger Close says Minter would be set up with the Bengals only if Burrow stays. Yeah. If you got a quarterback, you're set up. And clearly, Joe Burrow's a quarterback. They got to fix the injury. They got to fix offensive line stuff. Their defense is atrocious. But like they have some key pieces there that would be awesome for them. Coke with Torani vanilla syrup and crushed ice.
Look, as a fellow lover of soda, and especially with how much I've cut back on it. So it's like when you have that one soda that you haven't had in like 6 months, it tastes that much better. I'm down for this.
Yeah, I am too. Jake, got a couple of voicemails we'll get to here today, but y'all know the drill. Chargers Unleashed live the day before the Chargers face the Cowboys. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, put them in the chat. We'll do our best to weed through and sift as we go through this Cowboys matchup. We'll go through offense versus defense, and special teams on both sides, key matchups, predictions, bold predictions as well. Jake, before we get to that, let's pay the bills. Let's talk about our friends over at Bet.
Maybe you need some sleep to remember
over
who
at
it is.
Sleeper.
There we go.
Bet that I get my coffee soon.
Or we're inching ever so much closer to the NFL playoffs, which means you now have a chance to win up to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. With Sleeper, football has never been more exciting than it is right now. Players like C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Pick on these stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. Just use the promo code ChargersLAFB, and you can get up to $100 matching your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms are used for details. Currently operating in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
So Chargers versus the Cowboys, week 16. Starting week 16.
It's wild. Once upon a time, there was this used to be the end of the season.
So crazy. So crazy. Week 16, Jake, before we get to that, I think it's probably good that we talk about some kind of scenarios. Currently, the Chargers are not locked in, but they are close. The Cowboys are currently still open to possibly making the playoffs. That being said, they might not after today. So game time roster may be different than what it looks like right now. I believe the Eagles have a chance to knock them out of the playoffs with the victory today.
We'll see.
Do you foresee that affecting the roster for this team?
No.
For the Cowboys?
No.
No.
You're not gonna just give up with 3 games left, especially when you have coach of the tree of Marty Schottenheimer and Brian Schottenheimer. You're still going to go out and compete regardless. This is not going to change anything. Nobody's going to throw in the towel. And this is going to be one of the most... I'm not
saying give up. I'm just saying, like, do you think some of the players that may be on the fence might be a little less on the fence?
No, not one bit. Players play, competitors compete. I understand the idea around it, but no, I don't foresee that happening at all.
Interesting. Okay. Ivan Flores. Oh, thank you, sweetie.
He got coffee.
Not yet. No, I got jewelry.
Oh, you got jewelry. Okay,
Can you
sorry.
ask Mommy for some coffee? Thank you so much.
There you go. Now you actually have a messenger to send. The carrier pigeon.
Pigeon has flown.
The raven has flown, yes.
Just wait, Jake. For you got like, what, 2-3 years? And all of a sudden, you will have your own carrier pigeon.
Well, yeah, I'll have to carry my carrier pigeon for a little while before I can actually send them off. But yes.
And real quick, not to make it mushy-gushy, but Jake, this may be the last month before there's another human in your house.
Yeah.
Has that set in yet?
No.
I'm so sorry.
So I'm getting ready. It's really probably not going to hit me until she finally arrives.
Yeah.
It's everything has just been, making sure that she's comfortable, getting the house ready for it. So, but we're excited.
What's left, by the way?
I think we're good, actually.
Oh, you better knock on something.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. I don't have the list because my list would literally be like this.
So you're not good.
No, probably not. Like the last I heard, we got like all the big ticket items out of the way, the ones that are, really big deals. But again, not my list. If it was my list, that list would have been done months ago.
Your list was done before it started.
Yeah, it's like, what are the bare minimums? Let's go through that.
Zach says, Jake is multiplying. Yes, he is. Danger Close says, I'm a bit worried about this Cowboys game. 2 wide receivers and a decent quarterback that is ahead of a lot in a lot of categories. Their offensive line is pretty decent too. Just a horrible defense. I mean, in short, yes.
Yeah.
The offense is
not wrong.
Pretty damn good. Their defense is pretty damn bad. And, like, again, I might get flack for this. You can say the same thing for the Chargers. Just flip it. Chargers defense, pretty damn good. Chargers offense, pretty damn bad. Now, there's some context there, but the end result is that, right? This is a big test for Jesse Minter and the defense, right? Like, you go up against 2 Super Bowl participants a year ago. and you beat both of them. Not really on the backs of your offense. Like, your defense won that. And both offenses were kind of struggling coming into that game. So, like, is that the barometer? I'm not sure. This game, like, make no mistake about it, like, this Cowboys offense is legit. And the last time we went up against a legit offense, I'd probably say it was the Jags. What happened? And before that, last offense was probably the Colts. What happened? So, big test. I think Jesse Minter has made a lot of adjustments post-bye week. We'll see how that goes. But this is, again, Jake, you and I have talked about this. I want to get your take. I feel like there have been a few moments in the season, and some of them have been passed with flying colors, and some have been failed miserably. Chargers go 3-0. They have a chance to go 4-0. Like, don't let this be a trap game, and then they somehow lose to Jackson Dart, right? That Colts game was a big test. Like, can they win this one? No. Then they get to the Steelers game. Holy shit. They win this game. This is weird. Jags game. Then they beat the Raiders out of the bye. Back-to-back wins against the Eagles and Chiefs. You're like, oh my goodness. This is another one. Right? And some of that might be just like kicking the can down the road a bit. But this is like a unique opportunity and a challenge. Like, can they beat a good offense? And I don't want to put the cart before the horse, Jake, but do you think they can beat a good offense?
I mean, there's no question it's the best offense that they have played all season. And it's not on paper. I don't care what the Dallas Cowboys record is. Majority of the reasons that they lose games is because they can't score enough points because their defense is allowing everybody to just run up and down the field on them. Can they beat a good offense? I actually am looking forward to this matchup because I think what Jesse Minter does, and it'll be really interesting considering the fact that Jesse Minter has thrown a lot more man coverage into his defense over the last few weeks, especially in Philly and in the Kansas City game, whereas we've known Jesse Minter predominantly to run very heavy in zone defense. You may need to run that as your main option for this game because I don't think that you can, anybody for that matter, whether it's Jesse Minter or any defense, should be going up against George Pickens, Ceedee Lamb, and man coverage. That's just a huge gamble. Yeah. The one thing that the Chargers have done a very good job of defensively is limiting those explosive plays from opposing teams. And for Jesse Minter and his zone concept and what he is going to be able to bring, I think it actually fits very nicely. Even with the weapons of Ceedee Lamb, George Pickens, Ferguson, Javonte Williams, I think that you can find victories in that in terms of where you can win your battles and what schemes you can conceptualize for this game.
Yeah, I mean, George Pickens, Ceedee Lamb scare me. No mistake about it. Dak Prescott has been legit. And I think he's gotten a lot of flack in the past, but like that is a good quarterback. And those three weapons, along with Javonte Williams, like, they got weapons, man. They don't miss out on their tight ends. Like, their offense is legit. Make no mistake about it. I'm curious how, to your point, I'm curious how this Chargers coaching staff goes up against it, because Jesse Minter doesn't walk away from a fight on the field. And he likes who he has, and for the most part, he puts his defensive players in a position to succeed based on their strengths, right? Cam Hart's been balling. Dante Jackson has been balling. Dante Jackson isn't really a man corner. So I don't know if they're going to go man-to-man with him. Cam Hart, absolutely. I could see. So I'm curious how Dante Jackson is deployed here. Because he's been amazing, but like, he's not a man-to-man corner. So I can see them putting Cam Hart one-on-one. So maybe they kind of split the defense. wouldn't be surprised if there's some of that like trickery, like thick picks, bringing back guys that can maybe go like protect against those short underneath routes. Whether it's a QB spy, whether it's a defensive lineman dropping back in coverage, whether it's a nickel, like I think that's how you beat them. Like if you just clog the middle of it, and then if you can play one of those two guys man to man, I think you're okay. But I mean, I don't know how you can't be excited about Jesse Minter's matchup. Like he always seemingly gets up for games like this. So I don't know. I'm very curious how they do their secondary for this one. RJ Mickens isn't playing. I hope Elijah Molden's there. But man, I don't know. How would you play it? Well, we'll get to the offense defense, but like how would you play that?
I don't think there's any question you could just see over the last 3 weeks what this Chargers defense has really been since the bye week, coming off of that bad Jacksonville loss. And we even talked about it after the Raiders game. And I don't think it was any better said than what Daniel Popper put in his article. We're going to find out what's real. And we talked about this last 5-game stretch, this gauntlet to get to the playoffs for the Chargers. After the Raiders game, you've passed that on the back of your defense with flying colors.
So the defense is real.
The defense is very real. Defense is very real. And again, it's still going to be what's going to have to carry you these final 3 weeks of the season. You hope gradually over the course of these next few weeks, slowly but surely that hand for Justin Herbert gets a little bit better. You're able to draw up a lot more, open the playbook up a little bit more. Hopefully you could even get some cohesiveness with this offensive line patchwork that you're trying to put together. I think getting the law firm of Vidal and Hampton going offensively is going to help you down the stretch. But make no mistake about it, there isn't any false flags happening here. When the Chargers had one of the easiest schedules in the league last year, and even though their defense was playing well and it was a great turnaround from what you saw from Jesse Minter compared to what you saw previously from Brandon Staley, it was great. But now look at who they're proving it against. And at this point of the year, when you need to be peaking and really riding that momentum towards the playoffs, this is the time to do it. And again, when you're playing against this level of competition, it's only going to keep your head in the game much more. We talked about it. Prior to Philly, you pretty much were in playoff mode from that point on. And thus far, last 2 weeks have been very, very impressive. I know it's ugly offensively, but defensively can carry you.
Yeah. I mean, it has been winning playoff football, right? Like usually playoff football is not pretty. Usually. Like that's when things kind of get mucked up. They're not going to go as far as we'd like them if they can't get something going offensively that's consistent. And so will that be the run game? Will it be pass protection? Will it be run blocking? Will it be play calling? Pick the things. But some of those things have to show their face consistently, or else you can't keep doing it. It's just not sustainable because you're going to go up against a good offense. Now, how do you do that? What is realistic? That's kind of what we're going to get into here. So, Jake, Chargers versus Cowboys, offense versus defense on both sides. What would you like to start with? Well, actually, do you want to start the injury news?
Yeah, let's start with the latest because there's been some developments here over the last 24 hours.
All right, let's do it. So Chargers, Cowboys injury news. Jake, you are up.
So as it relates to who's in, who's out for the Chargers, we know that RJ Mickens is not playing this week. Darius Davis is not playing this week, which is actually a great opportunity, I think, especially if Quentin Johnson ends up playing in this game, that you get to see this group of wide receivers with the emergence of KLS last week stepping up big time, not only in the return game, but for obviously getting that touchdown at the end of the first half that really carried that momentum for the Kansas City win. Dan, I'm interested to see this because we know what Darius Davis, when he's good, when he's playing well, adds as a returner. But he never really had much of a spot. Good for you, Dan. You got your caffeine. He never really had much of a spot in the offense. KLS, we saw it in the preseason. He was essentially the training camp favorite because he was just catching everything from Justin Herbert. I'm interested to see the package that you could actually create offensively because you saw the Chargers actually taking some shots downfield last week against the Chiefs, which I think they're going to have ample opportunities to do this week. So I'm very interested to see what this group of wide receivers, if Quentin Johnson ends up coming back this week, can really provide for you. Others that with the questionable tag, Bud Dupree, Jim Harbaugh, I talked about Kyle Kennard, being ready to go if Bud Dupree is not able to play this game. Mentioned Quentin Johnson. Elijah Molden, as you mentioned, Dan, would be a very big one as it relates to just adding another body of safety depth to go along with DJ and Tony Jefferson. Trey Pipkins and T.R. Tart also have questionable tags, but I would expect both of them to play, although I would still give the starting nod to Bobby Hart if Trey Pipkins ends up being active. On the opposite side, Dan, Deron Bland, the cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys, is out for this game. Josh Butler, another DB of theirs, has been limited all week. He's officially questionable. Same with Kalen Carson, limited all week with the questionable tag. Hunter Luke, I believe it's. I can never pronounce the yes, yes. He and Quinn Williams, who were in concussion protocol all week, officially have questionable tags. They were both full participants in practice yesterday after being limited majority of the week. Dan, kind of the biggest news that's come here just this morning is that Travion Diggs is expected to be activated from IR reserve. He has not played since October 25th.
I think that's a Deron Bland causation, but yes.
I mean, that Kalen Carson, I mean, they are banged up in the secondary, which is obviously a area that we will talk about for the offensive matchup for the Chargers. But that is one of the biggest news from Ian Rappaport this morning, saying that Travion Diggs is expected to be Trayvon Diggs, excuse me, is expected to be activated for this game in this matchup tomorrow.
I mean, they need all the help they can get. Like, yeah, they brought in Quinn Williams, but like that defense has been struggling. It's tough sledding for them. I kind of feel like it's a wash if you take out Deron Bland, bring in Trayvon Diggs. I mean, Trayvon Diggs is great. So is Deron Bland. They're both pretty good. We shall see. Yeah, this the injury. I'm curious with Quentin Johnson. It's funny. Do you feel the Chargers were missing? This isn't a loaded question. I'm just asking. Were the Chargers missing Quentin?
I feel like it would have helped in Kansas City for sure, especially if you take where you got your victories in week one and the concepts that Greg Roman came up with for that game. Arguably his best called game of the season was week one. But also
Pittsburgh game too.
But also, the offensive line in Week 15 is not what it was in Week 1, and Justin Herbert's hand limits things a little bit. So, can't say yes, can't say no, but, I mean, you'd always love to have another body back there, especially in that secondary. I think it would be a very welcome sight for the opportunities that could not only afford Quentin Johnston, but other wide receivers as well, if we're talking about offense versus defense for the Chargers.
Let's do it. Offense versus defense. Chargers offense going up against the Cowboys defense. How apropos. We got Justin Herbert with one hand and Bradley Bozeman here on the screen. Is there a cheat code that you think that Greg Roman will actually deploy?
A cheat code?
Yeah, like before we get to the nitty gritty, like, is there a door number 3 where like all you got to do is blank and you should be good?
Well, number one, if the offensive line is able to protect Justin Herbert long enough for him to get some of his passes off, but the middle of this Dallas Cowboys defense and the big time secondary, or excuse me, the safety blanket, if you will, in the Dallas Cowboys secondary, it's very exploitable. Is very, very exploitable. So I talked about Quentin Johnston. I think you should be able to come up with a number of different routes to exploit this Dallas Cowboys defense in the middle. Kenneth Murray, Dan, who we're familiar with, we'll get to it when I come to the X Factor portion of the show, but I think Oronde Gadsden's going to have a huge game. You saw what TJ Hawkinson did from Minnesota with JJ McCarthy, only completing 15 of his passes last week against Dallas, and 66 of those yards went to TJ Hawkinson. So I think it's going to be a big day for Oronde Gadsden in this particular matchup. There's just too many areas in that defense. I know that Quinnen Williams has obviously brought some juice to them on the line, and we'll talk about that because that is a huge factor whether or not he plays. But if you're looking for areas and, as you say, Dan, cheat codes, easy places to look where you could exploit this Dallas defense, again, it's kind of been an interesting few weeks when we have not talked about, and maybe this is another just aspect of the Chargers winning these last two games, when it hasn't been on the backs of Keenan Allen or Ladd McConkey. Been very quiet for them over the last 2 weeks. That should change as far as winning your one-on-one matchups. That should change this week. So I think you're in a position where all Chargers weapons can find a place to eat.
Man, if you watch Dak Prescott, like, he's having a pretty damn good year. I mean, if you look at some of his numbers, like when he's blitzed, 87.4 passer rating, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. When he's not blitzed, 82.5, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Kept clean, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So, like, even when he's blitzed, he's still doing pretty good. I think his splits between play action and non-play action are pretty much the same. You look at, I think, his depth, right? He throwing short is his lowest passer rating, right? Both behind the line of scrimmage or 0 to 10 yards. Deep, though, the dude's like a 91.3. The guy's like elite. To me, like, what you're probably going to see is middle of the field and deep right. Those are the parts that I'm worried about, if you will. So again, islands. Will they have a Tony Jefferson? Will they have Elijah Molden? Will they have someone out there to help bracket if they do go man-to-man on that side? But it's going to be, can Cam Hart win one-on-one? And then can Dante Jackson and company win the other side? Like, that's the parts I'm looking at. And I mean, I just realized I'm doing the wrong side of the football. Literally 30 seconds, and I'm like, wait, this is the wrong side. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Drink a little bit more of that coffee.
Yeah, let me restart. Cowboys defense sucks.
There we go.
Their secondary
in a nutshell.
Their secondary is atrocious. They literally give up the most passing yards in the NFL. The most. Now, what does this mean for the Chargers? Ooh, they should torch them. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Defensive line is not bad for this defense for the Dallas Cowboys. And we all know the struggles for the offensive line for this Chargers team. So, like, can they be exploited? Yes. Oronde Gadsden, you mentioned, huge opportunity for him. I think Ladd has a big game in this one. I'm hoping he does because I have him on my fantasy team. I'm still in the playoffs. Cross your fingers. Amari Hampton, they need Amari Hampton. And you see the effectiveness for him. And I think the part that they need him most is in the red zone. Like, the Chargers offense has not been good in the red zone, but they also have not had a bullying running back for months. They have one now. And so you can actually lean on that to kind of push some of those really hard yards. Can we please go back to what we saw against the Steelers? Like, we saw so much in that game that was, like, optimistic. I'm like, wow, okay. They're doing some quick misdirection. They're moving the launch point. They're getting some of those screens and those quick releases, and they're getting to the guys in space. And like, it's weird because Jesse Minter and Greg Roman seem to be like polar opposite at times, where Jesse Minter almost always adapts his defense to his players and what he has on the field. And it just seems like, for the most part, Greg Roman doesn't. And there's so many things where it's like, man, like, how do you not recognize that your interior offensive line is awful? And how do you fix that? Like, make it not an issue. Get the ball out fast.
There's a number of ways you could do that. You just have chosen not to do that.
Right. But you flip it, right? You talk about Jesse Minter. You're like, all the things he could possibly do. He's doing all of them. Like, he's trying all of it. And so, for me, like, you saw the screen game last week where I'm like, oh, that's a running back screen off of play action. Like, that's different.
I mean, look at to your point, Dan, the last two screens that have been run by this team, specifically by Kamani Vidal, and maybe one you could say it was drawn up that way, or maybe it wasn't, just given how the play was breaking down. But Kamani Vidal took that pass from Justin Herbert 60 yards in the Philadelphia Eagles game. And then you see positive yards in the one that he takes against Kansas City. I would love to be able to say that's what Greg Roman should be scheming up more. And truthfully, I hope that he does. I don't think it's going to be by a big amount. But you need to get downfield to block in order to get some of that to spring, obviously, which has been highly questionable with this offensive line throughout a number of these weeks. You got two plays where you've seen positive yards out of it in the last two games. Try to give your guys some more opportunity to get out in space, because I would love that.
A lot of people are talking about the Kenneth Murray versus Oronde Gadsden matchup. Like, yes, you'll take that in a heartbeat. The other one that you're starting to see an increase week over week is a 6 offensive lineman that's being talked about in the chat.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming. Like that is the type of Greg Roman offense where it's like, you know what? That's an example of him actually using what he has. I just talked about how he does it, but like that's one example of him using some of his strengths. Like, you don't have a good offensive line, bring in another one, right? Like, you can run power, which kind of like tethers to like what he's wanting to do, right? He wants that trench warfare, medieval, physical, build a bully style, like take your opponent's lunch. That's what he wants. Unfortunately, like, the tackles are out, your interior is not good. Like, so it's quarterback has a broken hand, which is getting healthier and healthier. So to me, like, we've said this since Alt and Slater were gone. It's like they kind of got to take that Kansas City offense, the New England Patriots offense back in the day, where it's like a lot of those dink and dunks carve you up by 1,000 cuts. The one, like, the explosives come in every now and then, but it's more or less like you're just efficient with the football and you're going down the field.
2 weeks ago, Dan, when Dallas was playing Detroit, Jahmyr Gibbs, which we've all seen how great he is, but in the receiving game, Jahmyr Gibbs had 7 receptions for 77 yards in that game. You should be able to find something offensively to open up your playbook, and this tailors perfectly for the limited ability of your quarterback right now. Yes, I know it's a non-throwing hand injury, but in terms of protecting him and keeping him upright, these should be some of the aspects that you should be adding to your offensive playbook.
They should. This will be interesting. Like the blitz percentages for the Cowboys, they're not high. Like, I think they're pretty dead in like the bottom third, if I remember right. Like, where are they? Hold on.
While Dan's looking for that, everybody's, I know, asking about the Quinnen Williams impact, whether or not he plays or he doesn't play. Dan, he's in the top when it comes to his position and pass rush win rate at just over 20%.
He's so good.
And he goes up against Bradley Bozeman this week. Good Lord, what's going to happen in that A gap this week? On the next edition of A Gap, what's going to happen? We've seen it be terrible over the last 2 weeks. God, can they shore that spot up?
Absolutely brutal. And I stand corrected. Dallas Cowboys are like right around the top 10. I think they're right around 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th most or highest blitz percentage, 25.2% blitz percentage. So they do come after you. They don't get that many sacks though. Like, they don't get home, which is the issue for them. You're curious to see like what this Chargers offense can do against a bad defense. Like that is That is the reality, but the other reality is they're only going to go as far as their offensive line. And that offensive line continues to lower the ceiling for this Chargers offense. I don't know, man. Like, to me, it scares me because you're having to rely way more on Jesse Minter to bail you out this week than in weeks past. Like, Jesse Minter was going up against some, let's just call them average offenses this year, specifically. Raiders, Chiefs, Eagles. Yes, some of those guys got names, but like they haven't performed. And they have squeaked by. Squeaked by. If this is a shootout, man, I mean, it'll be exciting. But I don't know if I want that. Like, to me, looking forward, right? And this is the part that I sometimes get caught in the weeds with. Would I rather see, if you had to choose between these two things, I'll ask you, Jake, and folks in the chat. Would you rather see this week against Cowboys, your Chargers defense go off and your offense still suck? Or your offense go off and your defense take a step back?
I'd probably go with realistically, what sounds like the most likely scenario to me is the second option.
No, not most likely, but what would you rather see?
I mean, I wouldn't rather see either. I would rather see complementary football in all three phases, wouldn't we all? But if you're asking me what's most likely to happen,
I'm not going to stop. I'm not asking what's most likely.
I'm not going to say what I would rather see in this matchup. If this ends up being a Jesse Minter defense and your offense looks terrible.
Oh yeah, I would for sure 100% rather see this Chargers offense ball out. Like, show me something. Like, what offenses are you going to face in the AFC that are going to be like the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Again, I think that the defensive matchup for Jesse Minter in this particular game is a good matchup for against George Pickens and Ceedee Lamb. However, you still can't discount the fact that Dak Prescott is in the top as it relates to passing yards. That offense is the best offense that this Chargers defense is going to play all season. I'm not knocking what the defense has been the last few weeks. They have played fast, they play physical, and they're going to get after you. But this isn't going to be a game like you've seen the last 2 weeks when you compare apples to oranges between what the Dallas Cowboys offense does compared to what the Eagles or even the Chiefs offense with Patrick Mahomes does. So you're going to see points put up on the board. Where you see the opportunities to win is kind of where the criticism has been for this Chargers team the last couple of weeks, is how vanilla or limited the offense has been, where the defense has had to carry them. So I think you're going to see ample opportunities for this Chargers offense, even with a 1.5 and Justin Herbert, to go out there and make some plays.
1 3/4 now. It's getting better. No, like, to me, like, I go through scenarios. All right, let's go through each one. Chargers offense, terrible. Chargers defense, balls out. The storyline moving forward is nothing's changed. And we have no hope for the offense. They can't beat a terrible defense? What the hell? That's the storyline. Maybe we could still win with a championship defense. Cool. If the offense sucks, we're kind of screwed. Flip it. Chargers offense goes out, scores 33. They win 33-30. What storyline? Oh, Chargers offense, granted, it was against a shitty team. Defense, excuse me. They were out there making something happen. You saw some hope. You saw something Greg Roman's doing. Clearly, something's working. Defense took a step back. But, okay, they're going up against literally the best offense in the NFL. Okay, moving forward, I'd rather see my offense show me something going into the stretch before the playoffs that can keep up with someone. Because right now, your only hope is that you keep opponents under 20. Because if it's over 20, there's not a chance you're winning a football game. So far. Give me hope, Justin. But more importantly, and more, I think, appropriately, like, give me hope, Greg. Come on, man. Like, show me something. I understand the deficiencies of the offensive line. I get it. But at the same time, and I said this last week on Twitter, like, you got to be better than your best excuse. And right now, they still got Justin. They still got Keenan. They still got Ladd. They still got Hampton. They still got Vidal. They still got Harris. They still got Quentin. They still got all these guys, right? Like, they have the weapons that they can overcome that stuff. But you got to do it together, and you got to coach it up, man. And it's like, please. You know how many teams would kill for these weapons? Show me something. I'd rather see the offense ball out this week.
For context, the last time that the Dallas Cowboys were held under 20 points was November 3rd against the Cardinals. And that was just a fluky type of game. Since then, they've gone on to score 33, 24, 31, 30, and 26. With the majority of those games, the opponent outscoring them. Again, do I think you're going to see a better offensive output from the Dallas Cowboys against this defense than what you saw against the Eagles and the Chiefs? Yes, I do. Do I believe it's going to turn into a shootout? No, I don't. But on top of that, this is your best opportunity for some offensive success that you're going to see here in this last 5-game slate.
Yep.
You didn't see it against Philly, obviously for a number of different reasons. You saw it at times. The Chargers took the opportunity to get their wins against Kansas City, and you were able to come out of there and do it. Your offense made enough plays to beat them. And then again, you look at this game against Dallas and look beyond this against Houston, Denver, with those two defense that you have to go up against. This will be the last opportunity, really, before the playoffs, that your offense is going to get this good of an opportunity to get in a rhythm and get something going.
Hanan Derry, I disagree. Herbert takes more chances when we are behind. Example, 40-second touchdown drive. Yes. Otherwise, we play conservative and pound the ball. Winning is all that matters. Agree. So some of that I agree with. I'm not saying that they can't win ugly. Like, winning ugly will be fine. But again, like, winning ugly in this case would mean that the Chargers defense kept them under 20 and your offense still sucks. And say what you will about conservative and pounding the ball. Like, that's not by design. They don't want to purposefully suck on offense, play conservatively, and win last-minute field goals. That's not by design. Like, the play style, sure, pound the rock, be physical. Like, those things, 100%. But you can dominate a team in that regard on offense. That is not what you're seeing here. So miss me with the this is by design type stuff. Like, no, it's not. Some of this is lack of execution. Some of it is play calling. Some of it is just bad luck. Some of it is because the offensive line sucks. But they're not playing the offense that they would like to play right now. Ask any one of the offensive players. Like, they would rather not do this. No. I would 100% disagree with that part. Jake, got a couple voicemails here before we flip to the other side. We go to Chargers defense versus the Cowboys offense. 323-902-7586 is the number to the hotline. Jake, real quick, let's get to these voicemails. First one.
Hey, guys. It's Lewis from Winter Garden, Florida. Just want to tell you both do a fantastic job. Been listening to you guys since last year. Love the podcast. Question for you. Didn't Greg Roman have this problem when he was at Baltimore with receivers running into each other?
So,
yes.
Yes.
Love to hear your comments. Have a blessed day. Merry Christmas.
No, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
So obviously, the biggest example of this topic is the Philly game, where you just see Keenan Allen and Ladd just totally get meshed together from the defenders. I think those are issues that they're personally working out. And again, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. The fact that the Chargers have won these last 2 weeks with essentially Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen not being biggest catalyst of the offense in order to get to some of those wins, is really a testament to the rest of the offensive players, specifically the rookie group on offense, stepping up in a big, big way. I think you will see that change tomorrow. Against this defense, in this secondary, with these matchups that you should be able to find wins in a multitude of different spots from both your receivers and your tight ends. Again, that Philly game was just weird in general. When you just think about everything that took place, I don't think that you're going to see some of those same issues happening moving forward.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, again, like we're talking about this Cowboys defense that gives up the most yards in the NFL, gives up the second most points in the NFL, only behind the Cincinnati Bengals. Like the defense is not good. And if you can't show up against this defense, who gives up, I can keep going, like the third highest third down conversion percentage in the NFL, 46.5%. Not great. Ninth highest fourth down percentage converted, 65%. It's not good, man. Their red zone percentage given up is 72.2%. Second worst in the NFL.
Dan, would you like to know the best defensive output that this Cowboys team has put up on the board?
I would love to.
All season. November 17th against the Las Vegas Raiders when they only yielded 16 points. That's it. Outside of that, everybody else, even in a win or a loss, has been able to score on this defense.
Hanan Derry, the 50-yard drive from our goal line didn't bear fruit, but this was a crucial drive with many runs in 7 minutes. That I agree with.
Yes, I agree with that.
Fourth quarter drive, got the ball at the 1-yard line. You watch that, you're like, holy shit. This is a Greg Roman style. They couldn't get points, but they churned half the quarter away. They got it, field position flipped.
Doing it in the fourth, too. Like you were hoping that you were going to be able to put the nail in the coffin after that drive.
Totally agree with you on that one. And I got nothing on that. Yes, I thought the exact same thing when I saw that. Peaky Bolts. Morning, fellas. Peaky in the house. First, we needed that dub. Disagree, Dan. We need other lights out defense game. Offense can struggle so we can build case to fire Roman.
Also,
that's the offense who suck at
we're playing 5D chess here. So essentially, let's just go back to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. So that way we can get X person fired and a whole regime change. And then, come on. Look, I understand criticism of Greg Roman, but it is not the only reason that you're seeing falters in the offense. It's not. And it's the things that you can't quantify or expect to happen that are taking place, that are variables in this. So just keep building.
Yep.
I don't care. Defense is going to carry you. Eventually, you're going to find this rhythm back offensively, and this is the opportunity to start doing it on Sunday.
Chargers, the offense in the books now. Let's go to Chargers defense versus the Cowboys offense. And Jake, all that stuff I said like 35 minutes ago, completely out of turn.
Yeah.
Just cut that, paste it right here.
Paste it. We don't even need to talk about it again.
What do you think,
Insert Dan Wolkenstein. Okay, so again, on repeat, this will be the most prolific offense that the Chargers defense has had to go up against this year. In terms of concepts for Jesse Minter, like I said at the beginning of the show, you've seen him start to insert a lot more man coverage into his defense, especially over the last 2 weeks against Philly and against the Chiefs. I don't think that this game affords you the opportunity to do that. Do I think he'll still mix it in? For sure. But I think as far as zone concept goes, I think it's tailor-made for how you can limit this Dallas offense. Again, we talked about it. This Chargers defense does not give up. They limit explosive plays, which is what Dallas really thrives on, those big chunk plays, whether it's from Ceedee Lamb or from George Pickens. That's really what they thrive on getting their offense going. And then, of course, you sprinkle in your run offense because obviously with a Schottenheimer-led style offense, you, of course, are going to look to run the ball. But defensively, Dan, for this team, where is it that you can look to say, okay, that we can get our wins here? It's going to be very big responsibility for Dante Jackson and for Cam Hart, depending on what the coverage schemes are. So, of course, those are going to be X factors when you're really looking into this matchup defensively. As far as the outside coverage, Tony Jefferson, Derwin James is going to have a lot of responsibility in that as well. Dan, the other interesting part of this, when you look at the amount of times as far as pressure goes, Dallas Cowboys obviously have a better offensive line. Dak Prescott's probably taken nearly half the sacks that Justin Herbert has taken on the season. So he doesn't even get sacked that much, which is going to be a big, facet when you talk about how this Chargers defense has gotten after opposing quarterbacks over the last couple of weeks. So where is it that you can find ways to attack there? Again, Dan, I think if you're able to, other teams, when you look at what they have done defensively, you can look as far back as last week against the Minnesota Vikings. And yes, I know that there were certain injuries in that game that really changed the output for both the offense and the defense. But you look at that game, you look at the way that Philly played them around the second time. Like there are ways to get after, or excuse me, the first time. There are ways to get after this Dallas defense, limit their big playability, take away their opportunities for what they do best. You put them in a situation again, one of the best ways to limit this offense is to get a lead. Force them into a one-dimensional style game where they're playing from behind, where you're dictating the pace. That's only going to create more opportunities for Jesse Minter to open up the playbook. Dan, last week against the Chiefs, Jesse Minter blitzed only twice against Patrick Mahomes.
Crazy.
Absolutely nuts. They're finding ways to win up front with just rushing 4.
The thing that makes me nervous about this is like George Pickens is about to get paid because he's gone absolutely nuclear this year. I mean, his ratings are as good or better than Ceedee Lamb's. And we're talking Ceedee Lamb. Deep, left, right, middle, intermediate, doesn't matter. Like these two receivers are playing at elite levels, like elite. I'm talking mid to high 90s, elite level. And you saw AJ Brown kind of get his. Granted, Cam Hart went off too, but AJ Brown got his. They got 2 of them. So to me, like this Chargers defense, the interior is going to have a day because the interior offensive line for the Cowboys is pretty good. And I'm saying against the run and the pass. Go look at how Cowboys run the ball. Like their most effective runs are in the middle to the left or middle left, middle right. That's where they run the most effectively. And it's Chargers defense, man. Like if I'm talking Tyre Tart, a Boygby, Caldwell, Mack, like that inside presence has to be made because if they don't, it's going to be a long day. I believe in the Chargers offensive line or Chargers defensive front on the outside. Mack, Thule, Owe, like those guys should be able to get theirs because the offensive tackles for the Cowboys aren't great. But the struggle or the pressure point is going to be the interior because the Dallas interior is good. Chargers interior, I think, has been average to above average. It shines at times. But that's kind of a force multiplier to me. So if you can stop the run, to your point, make it one-dimensional with interior, right? If you can get pressure from the interior along with your edges,
get a lead.
That can kind of help get rid of some of the issues that you might face if you give them time outside. But don't allow your cornerbacks to be on an island against these receivers downfield. Like you're just asking for it, whether it's a DPI or an explosive play. Like you're just asking for it. These guys are good. I don't want to be the guy that's like being super catastrophic here, but like I'm not being critical, but I don't want to test that, man. Like I like our squad, but like on islands, right? Like, that's tough. That's tough.
It'd be another aspect as far as possibly getting Elijah Molden back for this game, which still allowing Derwin James to, play closer to the line of scrimmage and those type of setups that you have. You could still have Tony Jefferson and Elijah Molden playing in the secondary. You wouldn't want to lose that aspect or limit that aspect of your defense. Derwin James is still playing just at an absolutely ridiculous level right now. But to your point, Dan, I would not expect them to play much man coverage. Not in this matchup. Not with what you've seen proven from Ceedee Lamb and George Pickens when defenses are gamble enough to play in man coverage. They win a good majority of those matchups.
Tony Reyes. Greg Roman has a team with back-to-back 10+ seasons, and Greg Roman is the problem. OG has rookie tight end record. Greg Roman is the problem. Yeah, fans are the problem. Okay. I think both things can exist. You have seen some players have monster seasons on offense, but you also have a ton of meat left on the bone from Greg Roman. Do I think Greg Roman is terrible? No. But I've said for all season, aside from a few games where I'm like, holy, like that Steelers game, you're like, whoa. There's some moments in games you're like, oh, finally. He has not been helping this interior offensive line as much as I think is needed. And to me, like, there are some easy fixes that he could lean into more. I'm not saying he's the only reason why this offense has not been good.
He's not the only reason.
But would you say he's been the reason why the offense has been bad? Definitely. Like, definitely. And that's okay, right? Like, yes, there's some comments in here. We'll always be bitching about the offensive coordinator, no matter what. Right? Like, go look at Shane Steichen. We were bitching about that. But I think we all can be honest here. Injuries have played a big part. No doubt about it. Clearly. But so has the coordinator. That's okay. Both things can be true. If you ask Greg Roman that, he'd probably say the same thing.
Until the Chargers fan base hits Philadelphia Eagles level of egging your offensive coordinator's house, we should... I won't consider it like too much of bitching, but honestly, again, look at the big picture of things. We all thought that the season was over when Rashawn Slater went down. We all thought that the season was over when Joe Alt went down. I know it's a patchwork offensive line, and maybe you should have made changes at the left tackle position to go to Jamari Sawyer. Hindsight's 2020. Turnovers, execution from players, poor offensive line play. Not having Amarian Hampton for a 10-game stretch. All those are factors into what you could or could not do offensively. Has Greg Roman been an aspect of the issue? Yes. There's been plenty of times that myself and Dan have criticized him on his game plan specifically. Go back to the Giants game, for crying out loud, and the situation you were putting Justin Herbert in then. But is he the only problem? Is he the biggest aspect of what's holding this Chargers team back right now? No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say it's a shared responsibility, honestly. Is criticism warranted in certain circumstances? Sure. I'm not going to knock that and say that he's, absolved absolutely from any type of criticism. No. But to say he's the only problem, or to have comments in here to say, oh, I want to tank the rest of the season so he can absolutely 100% get fired. Like, come on. The Chargers just won their 10th game of the season against your biggest division rival and knocked them out of the playoffs without having to do much offensively. The offense is going to get going.
Oh, ooh, listen to you. The offense is going to get going. Jake bringing hopium on a Saturday morning. I love that. Abdullah, winning is not a Greg Roman stat. It hasn't been the last 3 weeks. Like, people want to talk about 10 wins. Have they won 10 games this year because of Greg Roman? Like, you can answer that. Anybody can answer that.
I'm not saying that. This is the stupid argument of like quarterback wins are a quarterback stat.
Yes.
I am not saying that wins are a Greg Roman stat, or that I'm trying to chalk up a similar comment that Joe Ortiz said about the offensive line to say, oh, well, we won 10 games this year. That's not what I'm trying to say. Look at the perseverance to say that they're winning in spite of everything that's taken place.
Yes, and everything. It's not just Greg Roman. Like they're winning in spite of a lot. And that is something, and then people have flamed me. We'll get to the X factors and predictions here. But Jake, I think one of the things that I have recognized this year is how impactful great coaches and great front office is to a team's ability to win tough games. And call me scarred, sure.
You are.
But seeing how this Chargers team has overcome things that we quite literally have never seen them overcome before. And when in spite of the large bucket of things over here that have gone wrong and the adversity that they faced, their ability to win in spite of insert all the things has been miraculous. Like, and I will be the first to admit, I did not think they could do it. And some of that is because of scar tissue from the past. Some of that is just from the realities that it currently still exist. But this Chargers team, players and coaches, still find a way and will this team somehow to victories. And they've got 10 of them. Does that mean that the issues are not there? No, like they're still there and they're winning in spite of them. But the credit goes to the leaders. They go to Jim Harbaugh for sure. They go to Joe Ortiz for sure. Like, period. They are not winning because of, like, they're winning in spite of a ton of things. But that doesn't mean those ton of things aren't real, right? Like, you just got to tip your cap to to Jim Harbaugh, to Joe Ortiz, to Jesse Minter, to Justin for gutting it out, for Derwin, for the rookies. You know, like, what they're doing is incredible. Nobody thought they could win 10 games with this roster that is or is not on the injury report. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. Like, it is simply incredible. And I'm still in disbelief. And so now I'm like, you know what? F it. Sure. Let it ride. Let it ride. I'm used to previous seasons where Chargers were like the offenses in the AFC are just like juggernauts, right? Go back to seasons with like Chiefs and the Bengals and the Ravens, not of the last 2 years, but Ravens typically. Like, those offenses just aren't there. You got the Bills and the Jags. That's probably it. That's probably it in the playoffs. So, anyways, enough of my soapbox. X factors. Folks in the chat, let us know what you think. X factors for this game. Dave, I'll let you go first. X factors for the Chargers offense.
Offensive, Dan, there's two of them. And this will. I don't think whether or not Quentin Johnson plays in this game is going to affect this person's impact, but Trey Harris and Aronde Gadsden. And I say that specifically as it relates to the areas that they can attack over the middle of the field. We talked about the coverage and the exploitation for the Dallas Cowboys, specifically in the middle. Oh boy. Kenneth Murray and Aronde Gadsden. I look forward to watching that one for sure. The emergence that you've seen from Trey Harris in what he's been able to run, just quiet, methodical, buying time. His time will come, and it has flourished really over the last few weeks that you have seen.
I love Trey Harris's game, man.
None bigger than last week to set up that touchdown at the end of the first half.
The ratio of Trey Harris's like opportunity to success is so high. Like, number of opportunities he's had is relatively low. Number of success in those opportunities is through the roof. I love his game. And again, like, to your point, like, it's just like a matter of time. Like, you wait, right? Like, you find out what's going on with Quentin years to come, wait for an injury that may or may not come. In the meantime, the dude's balling out when called upon. Guy's incredible in the run game. They're using him more in the run game than some offensive line or tight ends because of how good he is there. He is a Jim Harbaugh type dude. And you mentioned Oronde Gadsden. Yes, Daniel Jones is not playing, but I have Oronde Gadsden in the playoffs starting over Tyler Warren this week.
I mean, well, matchup wise, I think that's a no-brainer, Dan.
We're talking about arguably the best tight end in the league that is now on my bench because of what we're seeing in this matchup going forward in this game. Oron, this could be I think I'm adding Ladd into this. Again, some of this is hopeful wishing because I have the Chargers receiver on my fantasy team as well. But people want to say I'm not a homer. Talk about a homer. You know who's on my fantasy team this week? I've got Omarion Hampton.
Oh, yeah, you went Chargers heavy.
Omarion Hampton, Ladd McConkey, and Oronde Gadsden are currently starting. And I have Keenan and Vidal on the bench. So anyone who says that I am not a Chargers fan, look at my fantasy team. Anybody else on offense, Jake? I mean, I could say the offensive line, obviously.
I mean, I don't really want to say that that is a running narrative that has been a staple of Chargers Unleashed and will continue to be a staple and topic of conversation for Chargers Unleashed until we actually see something dramatically change. So it's like, yeah, no shit. The offensive line is, of course, going to have to be an X factor as it relates to this game. Of course it will. And it will continue to be, especially over the last few weeks as we head into the playoffs. But no, Dan, I mean, you could kind of interchange this however you'd want to. Insert wide receiver here. I still think that everybody is going to get an opportunity to eat when it comes to just overall coverage against this Dallas Cowboys defense. You know, you could throw the law firm of Hampton and Vidal back in there as well. I really enjoy what I've seen with this jumbo package, 6 offensive linemen with Trevor Penning working in and out of the lineup. Find a way to utilize what you traded for. And it's paying dividends in the running game for sure. But these two really stood out to me in terms of who's really going to step up in their game. So we talked about the offensive rookies and that group stepping up last week in a win over the Chiefs. Here you go again. How many times have you said that?
Darius, I'm with you. I would love to see this Chargers team play the majority of their offense with like an effective run game and just like bully the hell out of Cowboys defense for 60 minutes. Give Omarion Hampton 25, 30 carries for $150, 2 touchdowns. Like, yes, 100%. I think they should, and I hope they do. Because I think Omarion Hampton just gets better as the game goes on. And that's something we haven't seen this Chargers team have in a long time. I hope. But what has killed that opportunity has been 1, health, obviously. But 2, like they got to stop with like the early down mental lapses, whether it's like the 1st and 10 holding that negates a 25-yard run, or whether it's the false starts or delay a game. Like think just random stuff that enables them that keeps them from the 2nd and 4s to 2nd and 11s. Like that's what they got to do. If they get ahead of the sticks, like you look at last week, that impressive drive that the Chargers had at the end of the game, the 4th quarter, that didn't quite get points, where they got like 7 minutes off the clock. The reason that didn't continue was because Keenan dropped it. There's a Keenan drop that went from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 8 or something like that. So you got to execute. That's the whole point of this offense. Jake, defense, X factor. What do you got?
The entire secondary for the Chargers. And this will be key when it comes to how Jesse Minter is going to scheme up his concepts in a zone, dominant defense for limiting. I'm not going to say take away George Pickens and Ceedee Lamb. Limiting. Because they're going to get their wins. They're going to find their areas in coverage. Dak Prescott's good enough to find that green patch where they can schematically try to get scheme guys open. But the entire secondary in general, in Jesse Minter's scheme, with Dante Jackson, with with what you've seen from Cam Hart over the last several weeks, with Tony Jefferson just being a lightning rod of emotion for this secondary. Obviously, Derwin James pictured here as well, getting Elijah Molden back. I think that entire group is going to have to be huge as it relates to just overall coverage and trying to take away or limit these weapons for Dak Prescott.
It's going to be a big test, man. Big test. Question here from Eddie. Question. How far will our Bolts have to get for Khalil Mack to return for one more season? I want our Bolts to run it back with him and Tuli and Owen for 2026. Well,
God, I mean, I would love to see that too.
I would love to see it too, but again, like you're literally needing the Chargers to re-sign all three of those for this to happen. So it's not just Khalil Mack in this instance, but yeah, I think he can come back for sure. If they don't win Super Bowl, I think he can come back.
I mean, Khalil isn't showing any signs to me that he's slowing down. Not when he's playing with the way that Tuli's playing right now, with the with the shot of adrenaline that Odafe Owe has given you as far as pass rush capabilities. When you're playing with these three the way they're playing right now, I would have said no if we were talking about this early on in the season, that this would probably be Khalil Mack's last year. But I got to tell you, since he's come back from that injury, and obviously with the way that this defense has played over the last several weeks, I'm going to change my tune. I'll change my tune on that. I think there's definitely an avenue that you could possibly find to get Khalil Mack to sign it. I think it's all more based upon him specifically, where he is at, what he wants to do.
I think it's him mentally.
But he's not showing any signs of slowing down to me. No. So, yeah, he's quieting anybody who wants to just directly look at his age as a pass rusher.
Yeah, Mighty 2399. We are using our time to bitch about everything instead of realizing how much potential this 2025 team has. Unfortunate that our tackles got hurt, or I'd bet my house on the Super Bowl this year. True. Like, the future is bright. Like, who's got better than us? Future us. Thanks, Jim Harbaugh. But the folks who are wanting to win this year, we all recognize the potential. Like, everyone recognizes that. That's not a question. I think people went into the year thinking that this could be the year. And then now, I think that question is still there. But I think the less people are answering it with yes than they were going into the season, and for good reason. I don't know. Jake, predictions. Final voicemail before we get to predictions. Guess who it is?
Did he call back again?
Dan, Jake.
After saying he wouldn't call back 2 weeks ago?
He's called back twice.
My baby.
There it is.
Oh, we're back to... Am I his baby again?
Well, I don't know. Did he start with your name? I'm pretty sure that he's...
Oh, Dan and Jake, my baby. There we go. Okay, well, you're right.
We'll see. This is not a bold prediction by any means, but I have a feeling in about 3 seconds he's going to start bitching at you.
You know I love you.
Oh, that's exactly the setup. Everything that comes before the word "but" is horseshit.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we haven't heard a but yet. I heard okay.
I know you are a Chargers fan,
but
I always mess with you.
Is it coming?
See, well, he's already targeting you.
I like to give you a hard time.
Uh-huh.
But I have something important to say. When we have the tackles next year and the roster is complete and you picking the Chargers to be a Super Bowl contender,
go on.
That's a cop-out.
Oh, Athir, you're telling on yourself here, buddy.
That's not a legit. That's a cop-out, okay, my bro? You have to pick them right now when they don't have nothing.
I don't know.
That's what makes it a different, okay? Now, let's get to my bold prediction.
Okay.
I'm going to go special team. Brandon Aubrey missed 46-yard field goal. As the time expired, Chargers escape AT&T Stadium 34-32.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Let me just make clear of what I just heard. So Athir is essentially changing his entire traditional schematic prediction when normally he'd be talking about Justin Herbert's going to throw for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. The Chargers are going to put up 40 plus points in every single game. So he's now saying that the Chargers are going to escape AT&T Stadium by Brandon Aubrey missing a game-winning field goal. And you're going to try to criticize Dan Wolkenstein when he's not picking the Chargers based on it. So the Chargers are going to escape the jaws of defeat on the leg of Dallas's kicker missing a field goal. That's how much confidence that you have in the Chargers winning this game? This coming from the ever optimistic Athir? I don't know what kind of runaround that was. If you're trying something new, congratulations, you succeeded. But I don't get that one at all.
If you're telling me that I need to blindly root for this Chargers team and believe that they are going to win this game, win a Super Bowl regardless, that was me maybe a few years ago. That ain't me no more. That ain't me no more. Apparently, according to Young Frog, I'm just an asshole with just negative takes for no reason. This is such a crazy world. Like if you go on X, Jake, literally, it's split. Half the people tell me that I am too positive and too optimistic and too hopeful, and the other half are like, the dude's a clown, dude's pessimistic, the dude just is a negative Nancy, blah 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 blah. Like it's hilarious.
I said it a few weeks ago. There's nothing wrong with being critical about the team based off of what you see.
No, there is. It's very wrong.
Well, yes, in some people's eyes there is. But look, we're not going to just stand here and try to be homers and blow sunshine up people's ass when you know where there's weakness and where there's areas for improvement. Doesn't mean we don't have confidence in this team winning football games. And to be honest, in spite of it all, when it comes to shows like this and when we break it down on a week-by-week basis, as Dan said, look at how much coaching does for this team, honestly. Because when they end up going beyond the expectations of what you see or what you think is ultimately going to fail, or in spite of the arguments that we were talking of earlier, it makes those wins that much easier. But it doesn't mean that you can't be critical when there clearly is an issue. You can't escape the offensive line problems, and the Chargers probably won't be able to escape that narrative until the season is over with.
Yeah,
whenever that comes, obviously it's just, at the end of the day, it's just like, look, we're not here to keep our head up in the clouds. Doesn't mean that we're any less of fans.
If that's why you're here, like you're not gonna be disappointed. If you want us to just pick the Chargers every single week, like that's just not it. And Young talking again, what do you say? Dan, we want realistic takes, not negative takes, because your team's trauma.
I had trauma during the Brandon Staley era.
What am I saying?
I had plenty of trauma.
Legit. What am I saying that is unrealistic? Like I'm genuinely asking. I'm all about trying to better myself every single day. Please let me know in the comments.
From now on, I will introduce this show, Jake Hefner and Asshole Wilkenstein, as so I can make everybody happy when they come on here to flame down.
Yep,
that's how I'm going to open the show.
Thank you. Okay, we've gotten better every year for 3 years in a row. I'm happy. I consider myself more realistic. I'm a fan. I want my team to win. I don't act like a pro or that I know better. Yeah, I'm with you. Jake, bold predictions and final score prediction before we get out of here.
Yeah, bold predictions. I think this is going to be another Aronde Gadsden type game, much in the same type of vein that you saw from him in the Indianapolis Colts game where he just went off. Maybe not as high as the yardage, but I'm going to say that he's going to have 80 yards in. I'm going to say he's going to get in the end zone twice.
Who? Gaston?
Aronde Gadsden.
Oh, Gadsden. Yeah. I would love it. Ooh, I like that. I'm going Ladd, buck 40, 7 catches, touchdown. I want to say I would love to see a pick 6 though, man. Like that would floor me. But again, I'm more interested. Like, please, offense, can you please show me something, some glimmer of hope for them. Louds or Bruin says, let's cook K9. I think that's something we can all agree on.
I mean, it's kind of the reason that I took the low-hanging fruit of the bold prediction for Aronde Gadsden in this game, for sure.
Yep. Final prediction, Jake. What's the score before we get out of here?
Still going to be closer than people think. Even when going up against one of the worst defenses in the league, it's not going to be a blowout. So I'm still going to take the Chargers to win this one. 28-21.
Ooh, 28 points put up by this Chargers team.
28-21.
Let's see. Again, I said it 3 weeks ago. Until they beat a good team in this stretch, the 5-game gauntlet, like I'm going to pick against them. They have been underdogs in every one of them. And they have won the last 2. So I guess I got to go with them again in this one. I picked the Eagles to lose. Excuse me. I picked the Eagles to win. Chargers won. That changed it. Pick the Chiefs to lose. Got that one right. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to lose this one as well. 24-22. Chargers, I think they do just enough.
Interesting score.
24-22. I think a 2-point conversion is going to be missed at some point. Lots to be grateful for. Lots to be thankful for this holiday season. To your loved ones, tell them you love them, right? Give everybody hugs, kisses, right? There's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot of shit going on in the world, but there's a lot of good happening as well. Look, excited for this one. Big game ahead. Can the Chargers go into the Big D with the big W? We shall see. 10 wins, though. They got 10 wins already, looking for 11. They could possibly get 12, possibly 13 still, which is absolutely insane.
And possibly clinch a playoff spot with a win here and a Indianapolis Colts loss on Monday Night Football. Dan, it's a little bit interesting from the standpoint that Phillip Rivers has now returned and that it has to require the Indianapolis Colts now to lose against the San Francisco 49ers
I hate it.
for the Chargers to officially punch their ticket after this week to the playoffs if they're able to get a win.
I hate it. But look, by any means necessary, right? Like when you're winning in spite of lots of things, when you got a lot of chips against you, yes, they have some for them. You'll take a win however you can get it. And if they can take ugly wins all the way to the chip, hell yeah. Sign me up. Sign me the F up. Let's go. For Jake, I'm Dan. This is Chargers Unleashed. Let's have fun this weekend. Go Chargers. Hopefully we get to win number 11. But until then, let's enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you next time on Chargers Unleashed.